Hansworm Hat. This is a video on the Beirut Blast, and I don't have any one big thing to say about this, and this is surely a developing story. There's no way that this story is done developing, and there's some things I want to say at the end about a certain truther that I think has been talking about this event. And but for the beginning part of this video, I just want to go through. This was from an NYT news article, and just make some little observations. Nothing huge. So as death toll rises in Beirut Blast, they love that alliteration, Beirut Blast, a search for answers and survivors, live updates. So it turns out Beirut Blast is 33 in Chaldean. What do you know? And right now, the story that they're going with, at first, some people were talking about fireworks. And so for me, that's just, it's fireworks. It's a display. Just fireworks in general on the 4th of July can get intense. This was just a really, really big firework. And I think that's why at first they're like, oh, it's fireworks. Because it kind of is a firework. What are fireworks? Giant explosions in the sky for people's amusement. That's why I think people were talking about fireworks. Now they're saying it was caused by ammonium nitrate, so fertilizer, and I don't know. I don't know exactly. That's really not what this video is about, what it is. I guess I'll just say right now. I think it probably was some sort of combination of, yeah, a real explosion. It reminded me of 9/11, how they have the buildings sitting there burning for a while, and then, boom, here come the fireworks. That's how I think of this. It seems like it had been sitting there smoking for a while. That's why people were sitting there recording. And then, yeah, I do think that there was, boom, some fireworks. But also something about the smoke, the clouds, the mushroom cloud thing. I think that they might turn this into, some people are going to try to spin this off as some sort of nuke thing. Nukes are fake. Nukes are Hollywood propaganda. Any big explosion has a mushroom cloud, and nukes are just Hollywood propaganda. They want you to be scared. They want you to think that they can completely demolish the whole earth really easily. No. Anyways, yeah, I was getting kind of sidetracked, but oh yeah, this is what I was gonna say. I think that there might be some blue beam involved, but I don't want to get into the intricacies of it. I think that just the weird mushroom cloud, especially the white part, seemed like either blue beam tech or like they were giving us some CGI videos. That was the point I wanted to make. Okay, so continuing on. The blast, so powerful, could be felt more than 150 miles away in Cyprus. And here they go on and talk about twisted metal, leaving nothing but twisted metal. And TM, now I pay attention for TM initials, because TM is 33. And I just remember because, trademark, TM is 33, twisted metal. But then also, if you look up twisted metal is 44 in Chaldean, and that's the same as destruction. Destruction is 44 in Chaldean. So that's why they like the expression twisted metal. TM is 33, and it also matches with destruction. So the waterfront neighborhood, normally full of restaurants and nightclubs, in their psyops, they don't want to kill people. They want to cause fear, and so same as 9/11, maybe some people did die from lung-related things. Sometimes people will die in like a secondary way like that. Like, well, the blast didn't kill you, but you did like breathe a bunch of dirt and you ended up having lung problems. Same thing with this. They did it in an area that people probably had time to get away before this huge blast. And it seems like it wasn't right in a residential area. So, I pray for anybody that did get affected by this, but a general rule in their psyops is nobody died, nobody got hurt. However, in this one, this was a pretty intense one, and it really does look like there was a lot of destruction going on. So I don't even know that I want to say nobody died, nobody got hurt for this, because this is huge. This is huge, whatever just happened. And I think that there's going to be developing stories. And yeah, I think that this might be foreshadowing to future events. So I guess it's just worth talking about it now. Jurassic Liars 26 has been predicting a big event on 8/4, and then a huge event happens on 8/4. And I don't need to go into all the connections, but it's connected. And exactly what Jurassic was talking about in Seattle, it's like that just happened in Beirut. So it's almost like this is like a foreshadowing, a test run of what is going to happen even bigger at the Space Needle in Seattle. Anyways, this was an interesting side note. The city's eastern and predominantly Christian half were also ravaged. So it hit the Christian area. That was just kind of an interesting side note. Electricity out in most of the city. I don't know that electricity really went out. Maybe this was just part of the psyop. They're going to turn off the electricity for everyone, because would an explosion in one area like that really shut down the electricity for the whole city? I think that it was probably just a planned part of this thing. The government's Minister of Information, it's just crazy. It reads like 1984, but it's just where we live. Dr. Manal, which is anal with an M on it, Abdel Samad Najd, said after a Wednesday cabinet meeting that the country would enter a 2-week state of emergency. Have you just noticed how often they love this 2-week time span? 14 days. They just really, I see this all the time. 2 weeks. Why? Who says it's 2 weeks for everything? Why? Anyway, Russia. I just thought this was interesting how they're going to tie Russia into this. You talk to some NPCs and it's weird. They talk about Russia and I'm just like, you're getting played by the world's theater. So they've tied Russia into this now. That's why I put that slide. Here, they just had an idea of repeating sixes going on. And we've had the idea of repeating sixes for this whole corona thing. The whole six feet for social distancing. It's because they like the idea of repeating sixes. 666. So there was 1 6, and I think there were more sixes here. Anyway, I thought this was really interesting. The general manager of Beirut Port, whatever, despite numerous requests to have the material moved, nothing happened, this person said. Saying nothing happened it's almost like an admission that this is fake in some way. That, I don't know, there's some deception going on. Nothing happened. Because in general, that's the general rule. Nobody died, nobody got hurt. But some people probably got hurt in this thing. I don't know exactly. But here's just another 6 years. Okay, so I picked this picture because they love pictures like this, highly animated. If you're just sitting in the background and you just idly look at this picture, it looks like, whoa, what is all this commotion going on? This looks like an intense situation, right? But this person's smiling. This person's just smiling. And they don't look messed up really at all. They look happy and smiling. It's because it's all a big joke. This person was supposed to be... He had been pinned under a collapsed building for more than 10 hours. Does this look like somebody that had been pinned for 10 hours? I don't think so. So I guess here I just wanted to show out, I don't know, this is just some paragraph, but if you add the numbers, 9 and 2 is 11, and then plus 2 is 13, plus 6 is 19, and we know about 19 keeps appearing. So it just seems interesting when they have a paragraph where the numbers all add to 19. And how they're making money off of this stuff. They're always going to collect a bunch of donations. They were talking about blood donation. Blood donations start happening right away. Which, no, I don't know. That one, blood donations are a hard one because it does save people. I know people that have had their lives saved by blood donations, but It still just kind of creeps me out. This was really funny. Just so in that this is something that is fake. The diversity of the names of the missing, they'll already be able to post a website. There will be a website posted like the hour that these events happen. The names of the 90 missing people. There's no way that you see how disorganized the government is and how the world around you really doesn't work, how people just kind of blindly assume that everybody knows what they're doing and everything works fine. But if you go try to actually do stuff in real life, you'll run into all sorts of red tape and people that don't know what they're doing and mixed communication. But how do they always have this like, oh, right away we have 90 names and we have these like full bios on the 90 missing people. It's just a story. Somebody has been working on this webpage for probably weeks now, coming up with the 90 different fake people. But I just thought it was interesting that they have to talk about diversity, the diversity of the names of the missing. It's almost like it's not real life, and it's just like 80 Lebanese people and then just 10. It's like a very diverse cast of characters that are missing. They had to bring up satellites. There's no such thing as satellites. They may have weather balloons up there, but you can't get past the firmament. So they're going to take any opportunity they can to talk about satellites. When the world stopped cracking open, I just like that imagery. It's interesting. This was just an over the top. So this was like another article about stories of heroism, and you're gonna have so many of these amazing stories come out, and it's because you're surrounded by a bunch of phonies that they love making up stories. I mean, I know tons of people like this that love making up stories like this just to pretend like they want to be a part of something. So they'll just make up a crazy story. Okay, I couldn't see it first because of the blood running down my face. After blinking the blood from my eyes, just like, this is already not believable. I tried to take in the side of my apartment, turned into a demolition site. My yellow front door, when you're bleeding out of your face so much that you have to blink the blood out of your eyes, why are you paying attention and telling people that your door was yellow? To me, that's just a huge indication. If people start throwing out way too many details, it's a made up story. And I just got the imagery of the bright red blood, and then the imagery of a yellow door. And red and yellow makes orange, and orange is the only color that's 33. They love having orange in their hoaxes. So if somebody's hoaxing a story, they might think they're being clever by talking about red blood and then pointing out a yellow door. Like, why mention that your door is yellow? Everyone on the street seemed to be either bleeding from open gashes or swathed in makeshift bandages. And just the way this is written, who writes like this during an event like this? All except one woman in a chic, backless top leading a small dog on a leash. I just like, why are you paying attention to what this lady is wearing? Anyways, I just thought that was an interesting little fake article. A bunch of Orange 33 inverts are going to come out of the woodwork with their own fake version. One way I like to describe it, it's like when they have a new psyop, it's like somebody just brought out this huge pie, and every Orange 33 invert out there pretty much wants to get their own slice of that pie. So, and some of them, the way that they do that is they make up these outrageous stories and sell it. I mean, how many, to just equate this to 9/11, there's all sorts of people, and even famous people, where when 9/11 first happened, they just made up these outrageous tales about it, and then they end up getting called out later for their BS. And those are the ones that get called out. Imagine how many never get called out. Okay, so I picked this because there were multiple comments talking about how this was more real than war. And to me, that means two things: that they're really getting intense with these psyops. I think a lot of people probably did get hurt from the busted glass from the psyop. And I don't know if anyone died, but people probably did get hurt from this one. And I mean, 9/11, there probably were some people that got messed up from the debris falling. So This is as big as 9/11. We'll see how this develops, and I don't think that this is going to be the only case. Anyways, 16 years of photojournalism and a lot of wars, I can say I have never seen what I saw today. Okay, so this proves that war is fake. Modern war is fake, because this Beirut blast was more real than 16 years of photojournalism and a lot of wars. It was the deepest hell of an apocalypse. So here's another quote. Every floor of the hospital is damaged. I didn't see this even during the war. It's a catastrophe. They're going to talk about vaccines, so they brought up talking about vaccines. They never miss an opportunity to push their agendas. That's why I picked this. And there was just kind of an interesting Small World, something that just reminded me of Small World and maybe looming economic crisis, maybe some food. There's been some predictive programming, you might say, for food shortages. And so here's another one. The blast at the port, which was essentially flattened. Oh, they like to talk about things being flattened. Flatten the curve. Everything got flattened by this explosion, and the earth is flat. So here, it damaged grain silos that store 85% of Lebanon's grain. Doesn't that just amaze you sometimes when you see something like this and you're like, wow, a single port is able to have almost all of the grain for the entire country of Lebanon. It's a small world after all, and the population isn't what they tell you. That's just what I think of when I see stuff like that. No corner. They like talking about the corners because Earth has corners. There's 4 corners to Earth. The explosion spared no corner, leaving the city looking like a war zone without a war. I thought that was an interesting comparison. The streets, so this was another interesting thing to say. The streets looked like they were cobbled in glass, one resident said of the shattered windows strewn across the city. Revelation 21:21, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. There's just these descriptions in Revelation that talk about the cities being paved in gold. I think it's talking about New Jerusalem, and the cities are paved of gold, as it were transparent glass. Just kind of like here, talking about the streets were cobbled in glass. So I imagine there was a lot of this type of thing going on. It's good they don't look injured. They don't look overly injured. So hopefully not many people got hurt. Again, I pray for anybody that got hurt by this thing, because the blast at least looked partially real. I don't know how much CGI or blue beam technology is used in this. That's not what this video is about. But I pray for anybody that got hurt by this. Doing the triad claw. Quite a Q angle. Looking pregnant. That curvy spine, short torso. This picture just creeped me out. Officials said there were bodies buried in the rubble. But then look at this guy. Like a creepy smile and pointing up. And there's a 6 right here in black. See the 6? That's a 6. There's something about the repeating 6 going on. It's very... The news really is full of repeating 6s. Creepy. We got these bright orange bags in the background, and Plan C with another C, CC-33. Beirut's hospitals were overwhelmed with the wounded, but then they show an empty wheelchair. It's just strange. I don't know. It's not overwhelmed, and I don't see any wounded people. They do this all the time. I don't really know how to explain this, but they love putting a caption that just doesn't match the picture. I see 3 people here. Somebody's pointing. Somebody has an empty wheelchair. I don't see an overwhelmed hospital with wounded people. And I don't know. It's something that when you start reading captions and really looking at pictures, you'll notice that a lot, where it's the caption in no way reflects the picture. And I'll just end with this. So this is just another 33 thing, and you've maybe already heard this before, but the Richter scale, they say it was a 3.3 or a 33. So this blast, this 33 Beirut blast, caused a 3.3 on the Richter scale. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone. Oh, and I guess before I end, I mean, I kind of talked about it in the middle a little bit, but yeah, there's this truther out there, and he follows Jesus Christ, and that's one of the best things that you can look for in a truther. And he's been predicting about a big event on 8/4, and then this Beirut thing happened. And yeah, he's been talking a lot about Seattle and the Space Needle, but that's probably just going to be in the future. I think it's probably going to be something very similar to what we just witnessed. And yeah, I know I talked about it in the middle again, but I thought I would just end on that note. God bless everyone.